Good Brothers Wrestling Podcast, where we break down the happenings that's going on in the world of professional wrestling, the good, the bad, and the pure stink. What? Pure stink, that's what we do. That's something we'd say.
Say it again. Ugh.
That's something we'd say on a daily basis, and I feel like we could say it on the podcast.
I guess.
There we go. That's who we are. So we're a couple brothers running up or down the road. Today we're running up the road to work and recording our thoughts on professional wrestling. Of course, the big happening this week is going to be Hell in a Cell.
Hey, language, man.
Huh? That's what it is. Two big cell matches.
As bad as Raw has been lately, would you say Raw has been the absolute bottom of the toilet? The absolute. I think Raw, not SmackDown as much, Raw has hit rock bottom since SummerSlam. It's creatively dry. It's lost its way.
I wouldn't say it's creatively dry. It's creatively nuts.
It's lost its way to a degree that is astounding. Astounding. And now we're heading into this pay-per-view, the first of 3 pay-per-views that we're promoting concurrently on WWE TV. And things are just a nightmare. A nightmare. I can't even watch Raw. The last 2 weeks I've watched maybe an hour and a half of the show. It's bad.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, here's the thing. I was sitting there watching it, with my wife, and I said, this is unwatchable.
That same thing with me. I was watching it Monday night, and at about 9 o'clock, well, here it is, about 9:15, I said, I'm going to turn this off and watch Better Call Saul. Best show on TV, by the way, Better Call Saul. This season just now ramping up, but it's good. I wish this big truck would go away.
Here's the thing about Raw. You used to be able to count on Seth Rollins for a quality match.
Well, listen, here, listen. So, I'm watching at 9:15. Kevin Owens comes out. I said, I want to wait and see what Kevin Owens says. Maybe they'll explain. Maybe they'll have some sort of explanation as to why Kevin Owens quit 3 weeks ago, or 2 weeks ago, and then just came back 1 week ago with no explanation. So maybe this week we'll get the explanation. And then they just said, Kevin Owens getting ready for a match. I said, screw this. Screw this.
We got an explanation, though.
Well, and the explanation was stupid. I feel like the explanation was, we're going to make KO the Samoa Joe of Raw. And you know what? You're on mark for believing that. You're on mark for believing that they're going to do anything with Kevin Owens, that they had some grand plan of making him better with that really dumb segment on Raw that led to nothing. Nothing.
Well, here's the thing. He doesn't serve Roman Reigns.
But he does serve Roman Reigns because he's part of the big heel beatdown. Anyway, that was my last straw with Raw on Monday night. I watched Better Call Saul. I cut it back on and then didn't even stick around for the main event, whatever that was. I don't even remember. I turned it back on with Elias and Mick Foley, and that was garbage. Mick Foley, stop trotting out Mick Foley. Can we just remember him as he was? Can we just remember Mick Foley as a fighter and not the beat down man that he is? Even when he's out now, and he that was one of his better promos, believe it or not, and it still was boring. Was it not boring?
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, I was just making sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like the legends coming out. I'd bring Mick Foley out whenever you want.
Maybe it's just because that's from my era of wrestling. I don't want to see those guys as old. Like, I don't mind seeing Hulk Hogan come out and seem old because he's old. But Mick Foley, I don't want to see that aging process. I don't want to see him as beaten down and broken, and he is.
It reminds me of the hands of time. Yeah. You fear the hands of time, not Mick Foley.
He looked good. He's not DDP yoga. He looked good. I don't know. It's just not what it used to be.
Here's the thing. Okay, so yeah, you talk about Kevin Owens quitting. He had a barn burner of a match against Seth Rollins a few weeks ago, and you're like, what are they going to do with this? what are they going to do with this? And that was right before All In, right? So you thought KO was going to stay off TV for a while. Everybody did, I would think.
Anybody who quits, you would think they would be gone at least a week to sell quitting. A week? Is that too much to ask to not drop storyline threads for a week?
Well, let's just say this. We have not, to my recollection, recorded since All In. By the way, love that show.
All In was one of the best shows of the year, if not the best show of the year. Rewarding, fun, amazing wrestling in the ring. There were actual storylines going on. It gave you chills. It was so good. It was one of the great wrestling success stories.
So we're coming from All In. We're headed into Monday Night Raw, and we're like, we're sitting here talking as the Good Brothers, and we're saying, do you think Raw will respond? Do you think WWE will respond? And I said, yeah, I think they will, because normally after even a big ROH show, the guys are responding. Maybe not so much creative, but at least the guys, the storyline.
You see it in the ring.
You see it in the ring. They didn't even give an opportunity to see it in the ring on that Monday night.
No. That Raw was... And to come off of a SummerSlam that was really good, left a lot of things in positive places. And then the Shield reunion the next night after SummerSlam, that was really interesting. And then taking out Braun. Okay, where are they going to go with this? Never in a million years. And here's the crux of the problem, and we talked about this. Everything, like you said, everything must serve Roman Reigns on Raw.
Everything.
Seth Rollins having hot matches, great as U.S. champion. Now he's a backup man for Roman Reigns. Dean Ambrose, back, hot, just off an injury, backup for Roman Reigns. Kevin Owens, he quit. Nah, he's back now, so he can beat down on Roman Reigns. Braun Strowman, the hottest act you've had that just organically developed.
Since Daniel Bryan.
And very rarely does somebody catch on fire with the fans as much as they catch on fire with Vince McMahon, with the booking. Are they loved on both sides of it in an organic way like that? Braun Strowman was that guy. He was the guy who the office loved and the fans loved. And is he the best wrestler? No, but there's something. He's got it. He's just in an interesting character. You want to like him. And
big buffalo old redneck.
And they took that and they said, okay, well, you're going to be in a title program, but we're going to turn you heel against Roman Reigns, heel Braun Strowman, which even that's kind of like, well, okay, if he's going to be the supposed bad guy. Roman Reigns has been the supposed good guy in tons of feuds, and we've still booed him. But then to pair Braun Strowman up with Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre, Dolph Ziggler, the man who sucks heat away from everything he's ever touched. And then the craziest thing about it is Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre were actually pretty good as a team.
Yeah,
that was actually the most interesting thing that Dolph Ziggler's done in a while. And then put him with Braun Strowman to combat the Shield. It was the wrong move all around. And then all the heels do the big beat down on the Shield. Everything on Raw must serve Roman Reigns.
I said this. I told you this yesterday over our Chinese lunch. I said, I think...
That was 2 days ago.
2 days ago. I said, I think after SummerSlam, WWE felt like they had Roman Reigns over, and they went all in on Roman Reigns. They said, we can do everything we've ever wanted to do with Roman Reigns now because the fans buy into him.
It is odd that and I wouldn't even say SummerSlam. At the end of SummerSlam, you had this feeling that Roman was over. He was starting to get over in the feud with Brock.
Yeah.
He was starting to be embraced by the fans because Brock was so hated. But I think a lot of people really thought that Money in the Bank cash-in was going to happen at SummerSlam. And then when that kind of got screwed up and it was just, well, Roman hits the spear, Roman wins the title, I think a lot of that goodwill went away for Roman Reigns. Deservedly so. They quit doing what was working, which was keeping people on the ropes and keeping people surprised, and went with their just Roman Reigns down your throat again. Let's reboot. It's Roman Reigns all day, every day.
It's kind of like they really rebooted and just said, all right, Roman Reigns is in. It's Roman Reigns' show now. Everybody.
It really is like, well, Brock Lesnar's gone. Let's center everything around Roman Reigns. And it already was centered around Roman Reigns.
But now to the super detriment of the show period. Let's talk a little bit about, since we're talking about Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman here, let's talk a little bit about the Hell in a Cell poster that was released.
With the demon Braun Strowman.
It's the Wikipedia Hell in a Cell poster.
Let's tweet that. Let's tweet that out before the show. So if you will go to our Twitter at Good Brothers WP for Wrestling Podcast, you can see this poster if you haven't. Braun Strowman engulfed in fire with his demon horns, right?
Yep.
And he's got demon eyes.
Yep, he's got a demon forked tongue.
Oh, I didn't know the forked tongue.
He's got some demon wings.
Oh,
Roman Reigns clearly looking like the more dominant demon, in my opinion. And
well, you got to
Braun
make Roman look
looks
strong. Well, Braun Strowman's bigger than Roman in the picture, right? He's like behind him.
He is behind him, but it still looks like, I mean, Roman Reigns obviously given the devil treatment with the tail and the red horns, clearly looking like the devil, and Braun Strowman just a subservient demon.
Well, Roman Reigns, if Roman Reigns were to go to hell, would he rule there too, brother?
No, the devil would.
Or is he the devil?
I don't think he would go over.
Is he the devil?
So anyway, so that's your main event.
I'm going to say that's the best thing about Hell in a Cell right now is the poster.
And for some reason, Mick Foley gets thrown in that match as special guest referee for no
and here's what I'm going to say, and I just talk crap about Mick Foley. I hope that he has really gotten himself in shape with this DDP yoga. I hope his knees are feeling better, or whatever other problems he's had. And I hope he can get in there and one can only assume he's going to take a bump, right? He has to bump. Why put him in there?
Why put him in there at all, period?
Years ago, probably 10, maybe 15 years ago, there was a match between Kevin Nash and Triple H. It was a Hell in a Cell match. And they made Mick Foley the special guest referee. And that match was full of blood, which we won't see Sunday. But it was a really good match between two people that you didn't want to see in the ring. Kevin Nash, come on. Triple H, even then. But Mick Foley really made that match. It'd be great if he could do it again. And he's working with two strong guys. I like Roman and Braun in the ring. Maybe that's the worst thing about Hell in a Cell coming up. As bad as Raw's been, I've still got hope for Hell in a Cell.
They can pull off the big event, so we'll see. I mean, that could, that could be a good match. I don't know. Well, let's talk about the other Cell match, since we're talking about the Cell.
Well, wait, is this a full show? So here's what I want to do. Here's what I want to do with the whole card, or most of the matches that matter. I want to talk about what can WWE do on Sunday at Hell in a Cell and beyond to fix this garbage dump that we're in right now on Raw. And I'll even say this. Here's what I think will happen, since we're talking about Roman Braun. I think Roman Braun ends how it ends. Roman keeps the title. And then the next night on Raw, Strowman turns on Ziggler. Or maybe not next on Raw. I guess they've still got that Super Show match to contend with. But then Strowman turns on Ziggler and McIntyre. He's a face again. And we just don't even think about how he was a heel. Because that's how WWE rolls now. And like I told good brother Charlie, and that'll happen, and we'll re-embrace Braun Strowman, but he'll have lost a lot of momentum because of this. Because of this, he's already lost a lot of momentum.
Yeah.
And he may never get that back.
No. And here's the thing. WWE served John Cena for so long. Yeah, they did. And they killed a lot of their guys who could have been at the top in order to do it. And we've seen Roman Reigns at the top for 5 years now, and I guess there ain't no slowing down for him neither.
So what would you do on Sunday and beyond? Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman. I guess the Shield is also taking on McIntyre Ziggler, but what would you do with this storyline to make something worthwhile headed into the Rumble, headed into WrestleMania? What can be done? Do you drop it completely? Do you continue it?
I would say with this storyline, I would think that Braun Strowman has to turn on Ziggler and McIntyre. And if we're going to make a vicious stable, why not throw in Kevin Owens with Ziggler and McIntyre? And then they can feud with the Shield all the way up to Mania. 6-man tag match for the inaugural WWE 6-man tag titles
At WrestleMania?
at WrestleMania.
The Shield in that match.
The Shield,
Okay.
yes.
I thought we were doing something serious. Roman Reigns is the main event of WrestleMania. He's not going to be in a 6-man tag.
He is the main event. It's the inaugural.
Well, okay, you know what? At least that's something fresh. I'm going to give you style points for that.
Thank you.
I say this. Roman Reigns, whatever, on Sunday beats Braun Strowman. We're already booked for this triple threat, this 6-man tag match at Super Show. So I say Ziggler and McIntyre turn on Strowman. That at least gives him some sympathy. We get the blow-off match. I think Strowman can destroy Ziggler on Raw. That leads up to a Strowman-McIntyre match, which is fairly interesting, I guess. Two big guys. And book that in a way that Strowman wins. Maybe we get a couple matches out of it, and it gets McIntyre more over as a top guy. And then I would feud McIntyre with Roman Reigns. I think a Drew McIntyre-Roman Reigns feud could be really interesting, especially if you threw Dolph Ziggler in there as kind of a crap stirrer.
That's true. I think Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns probably would match up well. I mean, Roman Reigns, let's be honest with you, he matches up pretty well with anybody in the ring. I mean, he does.
It's true.
You know?
It's true.
I mean,
and let's keep Ambrose and Rollins away from Roman Reigns. I love the Shield. I love the Shield. But we don't need a Shield reunion right now. We don't. The Shield is a response. Really the Shield is a response to injustice. There's no injustice on Raw right now. Well, Corbin's taking over, but whatever. There's no injustice on Raw right now. There's no numbers game for Roman Reigns to combat. He made the numbers game in this Braun Strowman feud and made Braun Strowman turn to two of the most nonsensical partners in the world.
Well, there would be a numbers game then because Braun Strowman has 3 and Roman Reigns would only have 1 if he was by himself.
Well,
so there would be a numbers game. So
here's a question, though. Wouldn't it have been better if Braun Strowman had said he had a pack too, and out comes the Wyatt family? Wouldn't that have made more sense?
Nothing. Hey, you're talking about some people who sat down in a room on their stupid, stinky butts and said, you know what? You know who goes great with Toka and Razor from the Authors of Pain? Drake friggin' Maverick.
And they dressed him in that suit, and he looks like a midget. I seriously had to start. What is Drake Maverick a midget? Is he a midget?
No, he's not.
His body looks like a midget in that Authors of Pain suit.
Yeah, well, those guys are huge. Anybody's gonna look. You would look like a midget.
His body looks strange.
Quit saying his body.
His body looks strange.
Hey,
you know who? Christopher Daniels' body looks strange. He has a strange body. Drake Maverick's body is also a little bit strange.
He just keeps saying body, everybody. Despite me asking him not.
But yeah, you're right. Well, okay, let's get away from. Are Authors of Pain on the Hell in a Cell card?
I don't think so.
After this renewed push, hey, I'm glad Authors of Pain are getting pushed. I don't understand why we lost Paul Ellering from that team when they came up from NXT, but I sort of think maybe Ellering didn't want to travel.
I don't. I don't feel like you understand what I'm saying. That doesn't make any sense why you would do that.
No, Drake Maverick is not a manager. He was the
205
Live
general manager, whatever.
He was the authority on a show. He wasn't a manager.
Is he still?
He still is. He's still making matches over on 205 Live, and it suited him. It was a good
he
role
was great.
him.
He was really good in that role. Why would anyone in their right mind?
And here's another thing. He was a face. He's a good guy.
Here's the thing. Whoever is booking and writing Raw is being done by someone who is not in their right mind. Truth.
I have to agree with that.
Someone who is booking it is not in their right mind. I don't know if there's a drug problem or they had a death in the family or a big event in their life or, if maybe dementia. I don't know. And I'm not saying Vince McMahon has dementia there. I'm not implying that. I'm just saying whoever is booking Raw,
somebody is taking over stories and is doing a really bad job.
Some sort of problem. It's nonsense. It's nonsensical. It'd be like Care Bears showing up dressed up like Rambo in a Care Bears episode. It just wouldn't make sense.
But that would be cool at least. Can we agree that would be cool?
Yeah, I know it would be cool.
let's keep going down the card on Hell in a Cell and see if we can. If there's any, and I'm going to say this: SmackDown good right now. I don't think we needed to. I don't think that there's a lot of things to pee on SmackDown for.
What would that Care Bear's name be?
Rain Bear.
Oh yeah.
They drew first blood. They drew first blood.
Could you imagine seeing a bunch of Care Bears just shot up in a pile?
The sick thing about me is I could.
Bad Care Bears, so like evil Care Bears.
There weren't any bad. Who were the Care Bears' enemy? I don't even remember. I don't really remember watching that much Care Bears.
Bad.
Were there bad Care Bears?
Unicorn? I mean, there had to have been some sort of conflict, right?
I thought they were about feelings and stuff.
I guess sadness was their enemy.
But there was a grumpy bear, and he wasn't a bad guy.
I'm Googling Care Bear's enemy right now. Just keep talking about SmackDown and the other cell match. Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton.
Bear. He's not a bad guy. He's not a good guy.
I'm gonna list you a list of villains from the Care Bears.
Great.
And I'm gonna tell you something. There are pretty kick butt names on here.
Okay.
Dark Heart.
Wait, is that a Care Bear or a man?
I don't know. No Heart.
Come on.
Professor Coldheart.
Okay, that's got to be a man. That can't be a bear, right?
King Beastly.
Are you kidding me? These are Care Bear villains?
I'm looking on Care Bear Wiki fandom. Yeah, I mean, that's what...
Google Dark Heart.
No, Dark Heart doesn't look cool, but No Heart does.
Let me see him.
Dark Heart looks super stupid. He looks like a goofy kid. So, but No Heart, he looks like kids. A legit villain.
Oh, No Heart. Yeah, No Heart looks cool. Beastly's a frog. He looks kind of stupid. I kind of recognize
I guess
him.
when you...
And Nicholas Cherrywood. It looks like just a Poindexter.
Cuddle the kid. Yeah,
I gotta say, don't Google these. It's better to imagine what they look like than actually.
Now look up No Heart. No Heart's first appearance was in Care-a-Lot's birthday. The primary villain of Nelvana's. He was the primary villain of the Care Bears family television series, where he fights the Care Bears together with his minion Beastly.
For what? To what end? Like, what's his motive?
His life before the events in the television series are unknown. It's implied he's been terrorizing the Care Bears and the Care Bear cousins for a long period of time.
So he just hates
since
the Care
he
Bears.
scared away the pandas when they were cubs.
What?
I don't know, man. No Heart orders Beastly to capture a Care Bear so he can test his new gemstone amulet on it.
Okay.
This sounds better than Raw.
You know, bad guys don't have amulets anymore, but that used to be a big thing.
Oh, you haven't watched old, Sophia the First. In Sophia the First, she has an amulet.
Oh, well.
That the sorcerer in the family's always trying to get to, Cedric.
I don't care about that.
Huh?
I don't care about that.
Sophia the First ain't a bad show.
Who knew they were Care Bear villains?
I mean, you gotta have some sort of conflict, right?
I guess so.
I guess
so.
He was defeated. Oh, I don't want to give away things.
Go ahead. Spoiler alert.
He was defeated in Care-a-Lot when only Grumpy Bear was around. Well, of course. Only to be repelled by his recently acquired super strength thanks to a wish on a magic clover. Well, that sounds as dumb. In this episode, No Heart unleashes a demon to destroy the Care Bears.
This is great. What does the demon look like? Does it show the demon?
No.
Why can't we make a line of Care Bear villains plushes?
Oh, it looks like the Roman Reigns from that poster.
Oh, man. He's working double time. Roman Reigns takes over Care-a-Lot.
I'm sorry I laughed so hard at that, but reading Demon and Care Bear, same, sitting like a real story.
Well, you saw like Amulet and No Heart and Beastly. I mean, obviously there's some sort of like magic involved in the Care Bears.
Could you? Yeah, I guess it was all about magic.
Magic.
Could you imagine?
Magic.
Could you imagine if the Care Bears were in Paranormal Activity? Could you imagine Care Bears in Friday the 13th?
Oh, if they did a Care Bears Friday the 13th, or a Care Bears Halloween, like the Care Bears being babysat. The little Care Bears, are there baby Care Bears? I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm sure they're Care Bears. We're all sorts of Care Bears.
Do you believe in the Boogie Bear?
Yes, I believe indeed it was the Boogie Bear. Well, anyways.
Anyway.
Anyway. Got to run in my mouth.
Can you imagine a cameraman slasher movie? They're just all getting slashed up, but there's no blood. It's just stuffing.
No, you'd have to put some blood out there.
Jason Voorbear.
Michael My Bear. Michael Bears.
Michael Bears.
Stabs a lot.
That's it.
Stabs a lot, Bear.
Slash a lot. We're going to go to camp. Instead of Camp Blood, it's Camp Stuffing. Get it? Because they... Anyway, read me more of Hell in a Cell. Let's go.
What? You want to know more about the Care Bears episodes?
So I'm going to throw some off the dome. You got the Hell in a Cell, other Hell in a Cell match. Jeff Hardy.
I said that. You're not taking off the dome. I just said it.
But we didn't talk about it. It is off the dome. It's still on my dome, even if you said it. Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton. What are the odds that that'll be a good match? I believe Jeff Hardy will absolutely murder himself to make sure that's a good match.
He's more or less said so, right?
Yeah, he really has.
He pretty much said, "What? I could die doing this, so tune in." So, yeah, I don't know.
I was watching Jeff Hardy, and maybe it's just the face paint and the hair, but the dude looks like Sting. He had a very Stingishness to him.
I could see
that. He was in his all black clothes, his black jeans and his black shirt, and he had on his face paint and his long black hair. I was like, oh, this is Sting.
Yeah, well, they spent so much time together over there in Impact. And,
I mean, Jeff Hardy had to be a Sting fan growing up, right? Everybody was if you loved wrestling.
I'm sure he was.
Good for him. Here's another thing I think is odd about this feud. Randy Orton's like, I told you I was going to come out and destroy all of your idols one by one. It's like, dude, you've been working for 2 months on Jeff Hardy. You better get to chopping. You better get to stepping, Randy Orton, if you're going to destroy all of our idols.
I want to see a new Idol Killer shirt. Starts with Jeff Hardy, yeah.
That would be something.
He used to be the Legend Killer, Let's start an Idol Killer.
I never realized the parallel between him, the Legend Killer, and now the Idol Killer.
My longest surviving wrestling shirt is that Randy Orton Legend Killer shirt.
That's a great shirt, too.
From 2005.
No, it's 2004.
2004.
The last date on it's like 2003 or 2004.
Rob Van Dam on that list of legends that he killed on the back of that shirt. That's a good shirt. Solid shirt.
Anyway, what do you think of that match? Who do you think?
I think that Joe and Styles deserves to sell more than that match.
I agree. I think Joe and Styles has gotten very personal. I hope that we get a good gimmick match next. I hope this feud isn't over Well,
it's not because they're facing each other now at Super Showdown, and I think even at Evolution on the pre-show.
I don't care. I love Evolution Joe. I love Joe and AJ. I really hope we get the title on Joe at Hell in a Cell. I think that's his pay-per-view. I think Joe walks off with that championship.
Do you think Joe walks out with that?
No. Well, if he doesn't, I think we're going to have one of those matches where it's like, if he doesn't, I think it's going to be a case where like it's a screwy ending, and then we get a match where if AJ's counted out or disqualified, Joe wins the title, and that happens.
Probably so. Probably so, yeah. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to go anywhere with this feud. You just have to keep it going because it's the best feud.
It's a great feud.
It's the best feud in WWE right now.
Joe at the top of his game. AJ, of course, at the top of the industry. It's a great feud. It's keeping SmackDown going for sure right now. Making it head and shoulders above Raw.
Yeah, it really is. What do you think about that mixed match that they're having with Daniel Bryan and The Miz?
How bad has Brie Bella been in the ring since she came back?
Yeah,
and then on SmackDown this week, they pretty much had a Brie Maurice quote unquote match where no match actually happened. They just kind of brawled on the outside. The men got involved. I hope Brie stays on the apron. And we know Maurice isn't a wrestler, so. I don't think anything in this match. I guess it just keeps this Daniel Bryan Miz feud going. I kind of hope it ends in a loser leaves SmackDown match.
Oh man, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Have they ever had one of those? Like, is this the latest brand split?
No, they get like a career match, and then whoever loses always goes over to the other brand. So.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to say this, and this is going to be very controversial. Loser leaves SmackDown match. Daniel Bryan, Miz. Bryan loses and goes to NXT. Why not? Why not? At this point, I'd rather see him face the guys on there.
Could you imagine him versus Tommaso Ciampa? What kind of heat that would get?
Oh my
what
gosh.
kind of heat that would get?
Oh my gosh. Him in a feud with the Undisputed Era?
Oh. But here's the thing, brother. You take that up to SmackDown, you take Undisputed Era up to SmackDown, how much luster does that lose?
That's right. That's why I want to send Bryan to NXT.
Isn't that weird, though? Like, why is that? I don't know. I guess you just get lost in the shuffle on the bigger shows.
I think if you want to legitimize NXT and make it the third brand and not feel like the place where, the development, which it is, but I think they sort of want to see it on the same level, sending Daniel Bryan there is the way to go. And I think at that point, you don't have to constantly call guys up to make them feel validated by getting on Raw or SmackDown.
That's a good point. And then you don't have all these guys getting called up for no good reason.
Oh, yeah. Which is what hurts NXT so much every year. All right, let's go down the rest of the card. We're running out of time.
All right, are we going down the card? Let's just hit...
We'll hit the Raw matches because I still want to talk about the crap that Raw is right now.
Ronda Rousey, of course, and
everything must serve Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, if it's not serving Reigns, it's serving Rousey.
Ronda Rousey looked befuddled. Like, she looked befuddled on Raw this week when she had to talk. And putting her with Natalya, I don't know. The only thing I'm looking forward to with Ronda Rousey is the bell is turning hard on her at Evolution. Because that's happening.
Do you think that, what do you think they could do with Ronda Rousey to make her good?
Nothing. They ruined her already. She should have come in like she is. She should have been a badass. She come out smiling with that big jacket on. She was ruined from Jump Street. They shock mastered Ronda Rousey. They shock mastered Ronda Rousey.
Whoa!
And the style that she worked when she beat Alexa for the title at SummerSlam was hateable.
Oh yeah, that was that was awful. That was awful.
And here's the worst part of it. In their quest to make Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte the main event of WrestleMania next year, which it will be by all means necessary, they've also ruined Charlotte. They brought Charlotte back, stuck her in that triple threat match at SummerSlam to put the championship on her, to a chorus of boos from fans who watched Becky Lynch get screwed. It wasn't like, a heel could construe this as being screwed. Becky Lynch got screwed.
Hey, maybe Becky will take the title off of Charlotte Flair.
Whatever happens, Charlotte Flair will be holding the one title, Ronda Rousey will be holding the other title, and we will be sitting at a press conference for WrestleMania as we talk about the historic first ever women's main event at WrestleMania. Mark my words. All things to serve that doesn't make sense, man. It could be a good match, it could be a good idea, but you can't throw all your cards in it when there's so much TV time to fill.
You know what's funny about WWE is, just turning in periodically to SmackDown or whatever, or switching away from Raw for a minute and coming back on. I feel like it's back in the old Impact days when Gail Kim was ruling the roost, and there's just a lot of women's wrestling. Like, I felt like anytime I turned into Impact, I was watching women's wrestling.
It's true. There's a much larger ratio of women's wrestling than there used to be on Raw and SmackDown, which is kind of odd because if you look at the percentages on the roster, there's so many more men wrestlers, but now it's on Raw, it's almost 50-50, I would say.
Yeah.
And SmackDown too.
I'm not complaining, I'm not being sexist, I'm just saying, like,
they're pushing that, and they are pushing the women hard for this Evolution pay-per-view, but who's buying the network for this Evolution pay-per-view?
Probably some feminist, right?
I guess.
I mean, like, is that, like, are there feminists out there who are like,
who's hearing about
big
this?
on WWE because they push women?
About this? Oh, they're having their first ever women's pay-per-view? Well, time to give them a shot. I guess somebody. And I'm not even against Evolution. I think it'll be a good show, personally. I really love the idea of bringing a bunch of Hall of Famers and stuff back.
A bunch of
old ladies back. Let's finish up here. Is there anything else interesting we need to talk about? Is there any Raw related stuff? I don't know if Charlie's doing a Hell in a Cell preview or not, but
no, not really. I mean, there's that Ziggler, the tag title match.
And we kind of talked about that already.
Poor B team. You talk about another group that
rolled for the sake of Roman.
Yep.
And they couldn't get that title off of them fast enough. There was no program. Hey, how about we take the titles from them tonight? Well, okay. That sounds good, Ziggler and McIntyre. It's good to have people going against Roman with championships around their waist.
Yeah, I feel sorry for the B team because I feel like they were getting over too.
I'm going to say I hate the Raw tag team division. It 8 people alive, man. 8 people alive. They put the tag team titles on a comedy act. No. And if you want to talk about a team getting screwed, the Revival. Revival with their tag title shots and just get thrown out of the way for the Roman Reigns storyline.
Yeah. Well, one thing we didn't talk about, and since we got like a few minutes, and we're going pretty long, so we apologize for that. But don't forget to go to our spot to
thanks.
download this.
It's upload.
Well, upload, download, load, reload. Don't forget. Hey, by the way, just for a second here.
Yeah. Get to the point.
I'm making a Halloween playlist, and I was going to put a Metallica song on it because I'm trying to go away from traditional playlists this year for Halloween.
Huh?
What song do you think I should put on there?
For Metallica?
I was thinking about All Nightmare Long.
I've been using that on my Halloween playlist since it came out. Enter Sandman's classic.
I'll put Enter Sandman in there. Yeah, because I don't think I've ever put that on my Halloween playlist.
I think One would go well on there.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not putting Don't Fear the Reaper on there. That's going on there.
That's weird because I was just thinking about pretty much that exact same thing the other day about making a Halloween playlist with a bunch of like just brand new vibey kind of songs that we don't usually use.
And speaking about Halloween, the Dead Man taking on Triple H, I could not care less.
No, that's the last thing. We're promoting 3 pay-per-views at once: Super Show, Evolution, Hell in a Cell.
That's the big problem.
And
that's the root of the problem.
Until this Monday, Hell in a Cell was getting the least attention of all of them.
Yep.
And it was the first one coming up. WWE, I guess they're trying new things, but they're spreading themselves too thin. They're just spreading themselves
Here's the thing.
thin.
If you're going to spread yourself thin like that, use everybody on the roster. Let the Super Showdown be some other guys. Or let Hell in a Cell be players who don't normally get played.
I completely
And then
agree.
Super Showdown be the... Why can't Gable and Rude have a match at Hell in a Cell?
What would you want to see that?
Well, I don't know.
Built up, right? Yes.
The Revival. Why not let the Revival?
Built up, all of these wrestlers are worth your
good.
time. Built up, all of these wrestlers are worth your time. But you wouldn't know it because WWE doesn't build them up.
No, they don't build it. The only people that build up is Roman friggin' Reigns.
It's rough. It's rough.
Hard out here. Hard out here for a wrestling fan. All right, that's our preview of Hell in a Cell or whatever.
Hell in a Cell. Yeah, that's our preview of Hell in a Cell.
I thought you were done.
What, you think I was going to turn it off without doing my plugs?
Yeah, I did. I don't know. Just go ahead and do it, man. We're sitting here.
Why don't you do the plugs?
I don't want to.
Hey,
go to goodbrotherswrestling.com. Read
You
that.
didn't even say it right. All right, hey, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Good Brothers Wrestling. Give us a like. Give us a review.
Literally, we've done this over 50 times. No one's ever done it.
Follow us on Twitter.
It's futile.
At Good Brothers
It's
WP.
like insanity.
GoodBrothersWrestling.com. 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 Check out the beach
Your
battles.
breath is being wasted.
And we'll see you guys after Hell in a Cell. And good night. And good night.
Dude, goodness.
What?
Just the way you just said good night, like something important. See you guys later.
You're a prick.
Yep.